The book that I chose to do for my build is What If Everybody Did That by Ellen Javernick. The book focuses on teaching children about the impact of their actions. In a series of relatable and colorful illustrations, children are shown that their single action can have a devastating impact on the world around them, especially if everyone does the same thing with the same mindset. It doesn't hurt if I'm the only one who does it. This shows children that they need to consider how their actions affect others and the world around them, and realize that many people sharing an action and idea can have a larger impact than a single person. All of the situations represented in the book are relatable to children. Looking back at it as an adult, there's definitely a few of them that I remember doing as a kid. This book covers a range of actions which can be harmful, such as littering, to those which can simply be disruptive, such as running onto the field during a game for an autograph. This shows children that their actions don't necessarily have to hurt in order to have an impact. A thoughtless choice may not cause harm, but it can create a problem. This novel sets children up to think about their actions before taking them. However, most importantly, it doesn't just show children that their actions have negative effects. It does end with the reminder that good actions can have an impact as well. For this book build, after reading or hearing the book read out loud to them, students will create a poster of their own illustrating a rule that they think needs to be clarified and followed either in the classroom, library, or at home. This lesson can be done both virtually or in person. In-person students will need paper or cardstock or construction paper, and drawing and writing utensils to create their poster. Online students will need a poster creator or processing program, such as Google Slides or Canva. Some questions to ask before reading can include what would happen if we didn't have rules, and do you think it's fair that everyone has to follow the same rules? After reading, some questions that can be asked are what would happen if someone got exceptions to the rules, and what kind of rules do you think we should add? So, the process for creating my product. I first had to think about a rule that students needed to be reminded of and the way that I could illustrate it. I'm not a great artist, so it needed to be simple. I decided to follow the flow of the book, so I had to storyboard the rule and come up with the best visuals to represent what pencils go through on a daily basis. I also needed to come up with a panel that lets students know that I want them to still borrow the pencils. The goal is to make them take care of the pencils, not discourage them from actually using them. In the end, I came up with a final product that shows a pencil container full of pencils and students being invited to take the pencils and use them for fun, but also illustrating what happens to pencils when we don't take care of them, such as them getting broken, lost, left on the floor, or not returned at the end of the day. The consequence of this is that there may not be any pencils left for someone who needs one. The idea of this is to remind students that if we don't return them or take care of them, then someone who needs it or they themselves might not have it the following day. So the rule is to take care of and return the pencils when you're done borrowing them. It took some sketching and a lot of erasing and a lot of color consideration, but I finally created my poster for how I wanted students to treat them. As I was working, I thought about how important it is to have a digital alternative for students who may have disabilities or who are uncomfortable with or are resistant to drawing or sharing their artwork with their classmates. In my library, I would use this activity as a great icebreaker to introduce students to the library space and get them thinking about their role in the world. I think it would open great discussions for getting to know students, how they think, and how they perceive the world around them, as well as their role in that world. For older students in a secondary library, this activity can also be tied into governmental philosophy. This activity can open up conversations about the role of government and laws, social contracts, and individual rights. For example, we can pose to students the question of what is our role in society and how does our impact affect that role that we have or our interpretation of that role? So, this is still a great book to use with those secondary students. For my references, the books I used were 100 Great Children's Books to Use with Makerspace Activities and What If Everybody Did That. Thank you for watching my video.